This video is brought to you by Osmocote, the planter's plant food.
Hi, I'm Greg Speichert, Director of Hilltop Gardens at Indiana University, and today we're talking onions. We're going to start with how to plant them in the garden. We've got onion sets. Important thing to remember is with onion sets, we want the smallest onion sets possible. So if you end up with something this big, nice and big like that, basically just put it on a shish kebab and eat it. Otherwise you want them about this big, the little tiny ones. Generally you find these in the grocery store as pearl onions. They're not. They're onion sets at about 1/6 of the price. So just buy them at the seed store or your feed store. Any Lowe's will usually have them. So you want little onion sets. The smaller the better. If you get them down to the size of an eraser, even better. If they're big like this, they tend to go to flower, so we don't want them big. You want to just dig yourself just a little furrow, just a little dent in the ground. Make sure your ground's prepped. You don't want concrete. Nothing wants to grow in concrete. And I like to kind of mix them up. If I like red, yellow, and white onions, it's kind of fun to see them come up in the garden, so I plant them, kind of alternate them. You want them about 4 inches apart, so you put your hand in between so they can get full size. You don't want little dinky onions, right? We don't want small onions. So we get them, there we go, then a little white one, then a little red one. Then you just want to cover them up. You want them about 1 inch deep, okay? So you cover them all up. Give them a shot of water. Put a little label in the ground. Oh, here we go. Put a little label in the ground. And there you go. These are little transplants. You can buy them in the store like this. They just come as a little bundle. Sometimes they're a little bigger. And you just take them, you're going to do the same thing. And start a little row like this. They got their little roots on. Sometimes they don't have roots, but remember they're a bulb, so they're going to get new roots if they don't have any. Just push them into the ground, bury them. Again, at the final spacing, so you want them about 4 inches apart. And they're going to look like sad little green spaghettis. And sometimes all the foliage dies, so don't worry about it. They'll be fine. They'll come back. About 1 inch down. Just make a whole little row of them. Okay, there you go. Then next thing we want to do is we're going to water them. So let's take our water and pour it right in. You don't have to water the whole bed. We just need to water right where we did the onions, okay? And that helps the soil, the water molecules make contact with the roots and the roots with the soil, and then they can pull it off as a siphon. Also water your onion sets in. That'll basically set them to start sending out roots. If you've ever had onions in your salad crisper send out roots, you know why, because of the high humidity. So the other ones you got are ones that come in a little pot like this, and they come in a little clump. We just did some in seed, so a few weeks later they're going to look like this. Sometimes onions can take up to 4 weeks to look like this, so don't worry if yours don't, they come up like blades of grass. You just kind of manhandle them and pull them apart. It's not that big a deal. Shake off the dirt so they're all exposed. Then you don't have to like tease them and pull them apart. The roots are already spaced out. Again, we're going to start with a little row. I'm going to make this row a little deeper because these are leeks and we want to plant leeks as deep as possible to get as much leek as you can. So we're going to take this and push them down. You just want the tops of the leaves. Now, their leeks don't get as big, so we're going to make them just a couple inches apart. We just want the foliage sticking out of the ground. We don't really need the stems anywhere close. Okay, and that'll give us a nice big leek. Kind of fill it in. And again, we want to water right away. And then we want to put a label with them so we're not expecting onions when we should be expecting leeks. And there you go. I'm Greg Speichert, Director of Hilltop Gardens at Indiana University. Thanks.